My name is Callisthenes. I was not merely a master of ink and parchment. I was the shadow of a storm that the gods themselves watched with envy. I was the shadow of Alexander. Do you hear the crackling of this fire before me? Listen closely. That sound is not just wood burning. It is the echo of the screams that tore through the night when Persepolis, the jewel of the East, turned to ash. Years have passed. The sands of the desert have long buried Alexander's footsteps, but I can never forget the hunger in his eyes. He was not just a king, he was fate incarnate. When we marched down from the cold mountains of Macedonia, no one believed a boy could bring the world to its knees. But that boy had learned from Aristotle not just how to think, but how to conquer the very fabric of the universe. In his eyes, there was no horizon. Alexander did not conquer Babylon to settle there. He conquered it to use it as a fuel for his next fire. We marched on to Susa, and then finally into the heart of the beast, Persepolis, the ceremonial capital of the Persian Empire. The city was a marvel of stone and cedar, a testament to centuries of power. But it was here that I saw the shadow deepen. One night, fueled by wine and the whispers of a courtesan named Thais, a madness took hold of the banquet. "Burn it," she said. "Burn it for Athens." And he did. I watched as Alexander, the student of Aristotle, grabbed a torch and led the dance of destruction. The palace of Xerxes, a wonder of the world, was consumed by flames that reached the heavens. As the cedar beams crashed down, sending sparks into the black sky, I looked at his face. There was no regret. Only a wild, terrifying joy. That fire did not just burn a palace, it burned the last bridge back to who we were. But the ghost of Darius still haunted us. The great king was fleeing, running like a wounded animal towards the east. We chased him with a speed that defied nature, riding until our horses collapsed and our men fainted from thirst. We wanted to capture him, to claim the legitimacy of the throne. But when we finally found him, fate had played a cruel joke. Darius lay dying in a dusty cart, betrayed and stabbed by his own satrap, Bessus. I saw Alexander cry that day. He took off his own royal cloak and covered the body of his enemy. It was a moment of strange honor in a land of treachery. With Darius dead, Alexander was now the lord of Asia. But instead of returning home, his eyes turned to the murderers who had fled into the unknown. It was in these days that the change began. Subtle at first, like a crack in a marble pillar, Alexander began to wear the Persian robes. He began to demand that we, freeborn Macedonians, bow to him like servants of a god. The veterans who had bled with him at Granicus and Issus looked at him with confusion, then with anger. Why were we adopting the customs of the men we had defeated? Was our blood not enough? Was our loyalty not enough? And then the darkness truly fell. Philetus, the son of Parmenion, the commander of our cavalry, was accused of treason, a plot to kill the king. I watched as Philetus was tortured, his screams echoing through the camp, and then the swift execution. But the horror did not end there. Parmenion, the old general, was assassinated by Alexander's order before he even knew his son was dead. That day, the army fell silent. We realized that the king we loved was gone. In his place stood a tyrant who feared his own shadow. As we stand here now, on the edge of the known world, looking toward the snowy peaks of the Hindu Kush, I feel a cold wind blowing. Not from the mountains, but from the future. He says we go to India. He says we go to the end of the world. But I fear we are not marching toward glory anymore. We are marching into the abyss. And I, Callisthenes, who was supposed to write the history of his greatness, am beginning to fear that I am writing the history of our doom. The fire is dying down now, but the long night has only just begun.
You have witnessed the rise of a god. Now, prepare to witness his descent into madness. The journey to India and the edge of the world awaits. To ensure you don't miss part 2, subscribe to Witness of Empires now. History is not finished yet.